People on Reddit. What is the most f***ed up thing you did in a sleepover? I was away with a friend's family, and I was on the phone pretending to the other guys I met this hot babe at the pool and we were gonna sneak out and meet up that night. I also went on to complain about the family who paid for my trip. They heard everything. I cringe to this day when I think about it. Like third-hand embarrassed of myself. To be fair, they turned out not to be very nice people, but they were obviously nice to me. Got a bloody nose. It was dark and I didn't know the house, so I stuck near the walls and went down the hallway and found the bathroom. Got the bleeding to stop, cleaned up, went back to sleep. In the morning, the mom came in frantic, making sure everyone was alive after she saw smeared, bloody handprints all the way down the hallway. We were all like 9 or 10-year-old girls and everyone else had fallen asleep except for me, so I decided I would play a prank on them. I got up and shook a good amount of black pepper into my hand and went to several of the girls and held it under their noses. What I was thinking would happen was they would wake up sneezing and be like, "Hey, that was silly." But instead they ended up waking up crying because they inhaled pepper, and turns out black pepper being inhaled into a sensitive orifice can really fucking sting. The girls cried so hard that my parents woke up and I had to explain the whole innocent idea behind my scheme. I felt so bad. So my house never had junk food when I was little, and when I slept over my friend's house I ate an entire Chips Ahoy container while everyone was asleep and then put the container under her little sister's bed, who then got blamed for it and in trouble. In Boy Scouts, I was the morning cook, meaning I woke up before anyone else to chop wood, make fire, and get water boiling. I grabbed the hatchet and start splitting a log into little splinters for kindling. It was cold and dewy. The hatchet slipped from my hand mid-upward swing and went flying to the tent circle. It seriously flew 10-15 yards and fell straight down through the roof of a tent, where 4 scouts were sound asleep. I'm not sure how long I waited to hear someone start screaming. I probably sat there in terrified anticipation for over a minute. Then I was worried someone might be hurt, so I crawled over to that tent where the hatchet landed. I super quietly unzipped the flap and saw it landed in a bag of clothes very close to some kid's head. I snuck in, grabbed the hatchet, left the tent, zipped it back up, and finished breakfast. I heard them at breakfast complaining that the raccoons has ruined their perfectly nice tent by clawing a hole in it. I peed on my friend's couch during a sleepover. I was 10. I woke up in a panic, of course, but discovered the couch cushions weren't sewed to the couch and they were identical on both sides. So I flipped that shit, changed into a spare pair of shorts, and went to sleep. A year later, while I was at that friend's house, his mom discovered my huge, yellow piss stain on the bottom of a couch cushion. Of course she didn't suspect me. My friend's little sister took the heat. It was me, Mrs. Schofield. I pissed on your couch and let it soak for a year. Was like 12 and we were on a trampoline flashing people driving by. We thought we were sexy shit. At 12, surprised we didn't get kidnapped by a predator. I was at a sleepover at my best friend's house in 7th grade. Her brother was 2 years older and really cute. All evening he asked if I'd come out with him after everybody was asleep. I said no, but of course, late that night, I felt him tugging on my foot. My friend and I were in her queen bed, and he was at the end, whispering at me to please come talk to him. For some reason, I was finding the whole thing hilarious and trying to laugh quietly. Dude pulls his shorts down and shows me this massive boner. While impressive, just set me off laughing harder. Finally, his sister rises straight up like the kid in The Exorcist and screams, "Michael, stop trying to get her to look at her boner." We exchanged a meaningful look as we heard his mother yell, "Got him, it, Michael," and fling her door open. It was too soon for us. I had seen my first adult penis, and I needed time to process it. We did go out when I was in 9th or 10th grade, but I never saw that beast again. First sleepover with boys and girls. Didn't do anything, but woke up in the morning with all my mates laughing at me and none of the girls talking to me. Turns out that a girl had come to wake me up in the middle of the night, and in my sleep I had full-on punched her smack bang in the face. I was so confused waking up. Everyone was mad at me. No girl would even speak to me. It took a week until someone told me what I had apparently done. Still cringe at it to this day. I was in the bathroom. I could overhear whispers, so I knew they were going to play a prank on me. I thought that the prank would be that they would unexpectedly break the door open while I was in there. So, to counter-surprise them, I decided to only pretend I was on the toilet, and to instead hold the door shut by pushing against it with both palms, adding my weight to the door and preventing it from being pushed open. However, that was not their intended prank. They thought I was on the toilet, far from the door. So their idea was to have a sword thrust unexpectedly through the door. The sword went through the door and then straight through the palm of my right hand as well. Blood went everywhere. The sword went in and out quickly. I have vague memories of turning the sink on and wrapping my hand with hand towels even while blood spurted throughout the room. I don't remember getting in the car, but apparently I was driven to the emergency room. It's now 20+ years later. The rest of my hand is fine, but I have a small scar of light-colored flesh on my palm where I no longer have any feeling. Usually when I mention the story, I just say that I was stabbed through by a sword when I was a teenager without going into detail on the how and why, which is significantly more stupid. The same person who did this prank on me decided to prank someone else by holding a knife right above a sleeping person's eye so that when they woke up the first thing they'd see is a knife blade close up. Thankfully, that particular incident resulted in only a scream with no physical injuries. Looking back, I suspect he may have been an unhealthy friend to hang out with. Me and my friend were 11 or 12. His sister was about 14. She announced that she'd never seen a weenie in person before and wanted to. Basically, it was a show me yours and I'll show you mine thing. Except it was directed at me and my friend. Which makes sense, I guess. If she'd never seen one before, why not try to look at two at once? Ground rules were set. You can look for as long as you want or as close as you want, but no touching. I'd never seen a vag in person before, so I was up for it. My friend was apparently curious enough to scope out his own sister. So, we all showed each other our junk. After it was over, we never did that again, never spoke of it again or anything else. I don't remember what we were looking for, but me and another friend went through our buddy's parents' bedroom drawers and found a VHS tape. We were curious and idiotic, so we popped the tape in to see what was on it. Our buddy walked in while we were watching his parents have sex. His scream was the most shocking, horrifying thing I have heard to this day. Got hammered at the bar and slept over at this couple's house. I never got the tour, so didn't know where the bathroom was. I woke up having to puke and shit. I alternated, but I got shit and puke everywhere. They didn't have toilet paper, so I used a bag of cotton balls, which wouldn't flush, so I put all the wet cotton balls back in the original bag with my shit-covered underwear and threw the bag away in their kitchen trash can. Their dog was watching me the entire time. I left before they got up and never spoke to them again. I had a really weird first sexual experience at a sleepover. I was pretty young, like 10 or so I'd guess, and my friend who was sleeping over my house was a few years older than me. I had seen sex scenes in movies and was an avid reader and had read about sex and was curious, but I hadn't seen porn or anything like that, and my parents hadn't talked about any of it other than the very, very basics. Anyway, friend and me basically got naked and laid beside each other and moaned and pretended to have sex. And then we just got dressed and didn't talk about it ever again. And then I remember a couple weeks later I had another girl over, who was a family friend, and we were the same age, and I told her about what me and another friend did, and then we did the same thing. And then nothing like that ever happened again, and honestly one of those memories I block out almost always, but Reddit has a way of getting things out. Kissed my friend during hide and seek when we were hiding together in her closet. She did not like it. She proceeded to tell everyone I was a lesbian and did not want to be near me at all after that. I still don't know what I was thinking. I guess it was the adrenaline. Watched Scarface at 12 years old and snorted sugar. Edit. Wow, it's funny, so many other kids snorted stupid stuff. Me and my friends dared each to snort all kinds of stuff. Someone else mentioned pixie sticks. Yep. Also Taco Bell hot sauce. And those little packets of lime or chili salt at the checkout at gas stations for beer that used to be a nickel each. Yep. We snorted those. Slept over at a guy's house for the first time, and I woke up in the middle of the night struggling to breathe due to an asthma attack. I went to use my inhaler and it was empty, and I was too anxious to wake him up and be a burden, so I kind of just lay down on the floor in the fetal position trying to breathe properly and not cry. He woke up and saw me there and was just like, "What the fuck, dude?" I explained, and it turned out his mom was also an asthmatic and had lots of inhalers, so they let me have one. Looking back on it now, I cannot believe I basically chose death over inconveniencing someone. Oh, anxiety.